I'm Alan Robarge, a psychotherapist and a relationship coach. Welcome to Improve Your Relationships, where I like to talk about attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. And on this video, let's talk about the dysfunctional cycle of insecurely attached relationships and how we co-create this dynamic in such a way that it's a no-win situation for everybody involved. So the keywords, the two keywords in that incredibly long title, the word cycle. This is about a cycle, a dysfunctional cycle, and then also the word co-create. We participate in this as well as the type of partner that we pick to play another role, to play a part, so that we feed off of each other in fueling and creating the dysfunctional cycle together. Now, this video is video number 2 in a series of a total of 5, and I'm working from and operating from a handout that I have written to really hone in on some of the language and to map out what is this process. I have worked with clients many years, offering coaching, offering psychotherapy, listening and listening and listening to story after story, and then quite honestly, my own life, my own relationships, playing out the same pattern. So I too can relate. I too can see aspects of how my attachment injury and some attachment trauma that has happened in my life informs my adult relationship. So together with that vantage point of having lived it as well as being an observer to other people, I'm trying to map out really what is this process, what happens, what is predictable, a kind of predictable cycle of when we enter and engage in insecurely attached relationships where we're unconscious and that we're not willing to break the pattern. This is video number 2. If you want to get the document with the information on it, just go to alanrobarge.com/ and then the word cycle, CYCLE, and I'll include the URL here. Also in the notes, the description section here of this YouTube video, you can click on the link. I'll put it there too. Let's jump in and acknowledge what part number 2 is. You welcome relationships that happen quickly and like to create an instant boyfriend or girlfriend as a partner. You frame interactions in the context of long-term relating and imagine creating a life with this person, even though you don't really know him or her. You talk in terms of future plans, such as going on vacation together, buying a house, moving in, relocating, or even having children. I have clients, and we sometimes joke, we call this, their imaginary children. They will meet someone very quickly, imagine what house they're going to buy, how they're going to build a life with this person, and then they are imagining the children that they're going to have. And they don't even know this person. And when it's placed in that context, it's actually funny, and we just laugh about it, because our brain, that we're so quick, and then I'll ask some question, I can't think of it in this moment, but I'll ask some question like, well, do you even know XYZ about her? Do you even know XYZ about him? And then we look at, the client will look at me and we say like, no, don't really know anything about this person. But nonetheless, we're gonna, raise children. So when you find yourself creating imaginary children, that is really helpful to step back and say, what are you doing? What fantasy game are you playing here of how you're fueling or potentially fueling a dysfunctional cycle of insecurely attached relationship? Let me start over and repeat that and keep going. You welcome relationships that happen quickly and like to create an instant boyfriend or girlfriend as a partner. You frame interactions in context of long-term relating and imagine creating a life with this person, even though you don't really know him or her yet. You talk in terms of future plans, such as going on vacation together, buying a house, moving in, relocating, or even having children. Any relationship distress and uncertainty about your unknown future is managed by rushing into the relationship with blinders on and spending an extreme amount of time with the other person. You will most likely abandon your regular routine as you know it. therefore making the other person and the relationship priority number one. Even if you declare that you don't want to rush a relationship, this is how we oftentimes are a bit, we keep ourselves in the dark, or we give ourselves an out, or we're playing a little games with ourselves by not fully taking ownership of how we're rushing, that we know we're rushing, but then we blurt it out to the other person by saying, hey, you know what, we're going really, really fast. I really don't think we should go fast. But we don't actually slow down. We don't actually change our behavior. And then the person that we're with might acknowledge and go, oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, we are going fast. But then the moment that he or she continues to create an invitation to rush or push or move things forward with a commitment where there's no foundation of knowing each other to actually build that commitment, nonetheless, we're on board. We do it anyway. We're like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, I'll do it. And so this is how we put the onus on the other person for rushing it, even though we were totally complicit and we participated fully, even though at certain points we might even have the insight to verbalize and say, hey, wait a minute, this feels so rushed. Nonetheless, we're on board with that. You welcome relationships that happen quickly and like to create an instant boyfriend or girlfriend as a partner. You frame interactions in the context of long-term relating and imagine creating a life with this person even though you don't really know him or her yet. You talk in terms of future plans, such as going on vacation together, buying a house, moving in, relocating, or even having children. Any relationship distress and uncertainty about your unknown future is managed by rushing into the relationship with blinders on and spending an extreme amount of time with the other person. Just asterisk what this means. You don't have boundaries. You're not having boundaries around your time. You're not maintaining the boundaries of staying connected to your other friends and your other things that you used to do. This lack of boundary by this complete immersion into the relationship and the other person. You will mostly abandon your regular routine as you know it, therefore making the other person and the relationship priority number one. Other things fall aside. Other things follow, friends, it's so common. Gosh, you just don't even call anymore. We used to go out to brunch all the time. We used to go to the movie. Like, I don't even see you. And it's like, you shift the priorities to you're so consumed in this relationship. Even if you declare that you don't want to rush a relationship and need to slow down, you won't. Even if you declare that you don't want to rush a relationship, you'll go along for the ride if your partner pushes for deeper commitment. You don't know how to relate non-romantically with this new person because you haven't taken the time to get to know him or her outside of the assigned role of love interest. That one's so important. I'm going to read that sentence again. You don't know how to relate non-romantically with this new person because you haven't taken the time to get to know him or her outside of the assigned role of love interest. You're very fixated and focused. This is the love interest, the love object, the person I'm going to love, my partner, this type of special person. And because you're seeing the person through that lens, you're not really getting to know them in other contexts or other ways. When you finally, here's the clincher, and this might even be hard to hear if you're ready to hear it. When you finally do get introduced to who this person really is, you are astonished. And I've changed the word to astonished. When I first wrote this, I used the word flabbergasted, or you're just you're dumb. How about the word dumbfounded? When you finally do get introduced to who this person really is, instead of seeing them solely as your love interest that you're, completely, immersed yourself into rushing this relationship with this person. When you finally do get introduced to who this person really is, you are astonished at how profoundly different he or she is from the person that you first met. I cannot tell you the number of people, the common statement where people say, this person changed. This is not who I fell in love with. This is not, this person did not present, this is not the person that I committed to. This is not the person that I went on vacation with. This is not, I don't know where that other, and then they start thinking like, oh, this is sort of weird. This is like Jekyll and Hyde. This is like, how did that person evaporate? How did that person go away? And it is very confusing because there might be some other things going on with, you are correct, the person might have a bit of a Jekyll of Hyde aspect and move away. But the point of this document, the point of how you co-created this, and here's the zinger that I include here, and get ready for it, here it goes. When you finally do get introduced to who this person really is, you are astonished at how profoundly different he or she is from the person you first met. This is because the person you first met was distorted by your projections of longing. There was an aspect of, it was so much more important to be in a relationship, to create a relationship, and to give yourself permission to enter the abandon of merging in relationship, that you had a very strong reaction to not feeling any sense of longing or waiting any other moment, and you just wanted to completely merge with this person. And in a way, you think you're freeing yourself from longing, you're projecting your longing onto the other person, and that's distorting your reality. And then also, this is not solely psychological, this is hormonal. As we know, the first 9 months to a year, we are all under the influence of a hormone cocktail, which we can call love. And when you are under the influence of this predictable, identifiable, scientifically proven hormonal cocktail of blissed out, of like, oh my gosh, I feel so close to this person, and I just feel like, she really gets me, she really understands me, and I feel like this is something else people say too. They'll say, when talking to each other, I feel like I've known you my whole life. Partially that's because it's mirroring your family history, and it's tapping into your attachment template of how you're programmed to consider what is, closeness and feelings of love and affection for someone. But it's also because you're under the influence, and hear that phrase, under the influence, of this hormonal cocktail, which is designed biologically to have people couple for a good 9 months, because what happens during the period when you're completely ravished in ecstasy and bliss with the other person for a period of 9 months, it ensures procreation, so we can all of a sudden say, let's have babies, let's add babies to this whole situation where we don't even know each other. But it just feels so right. Well, that's because your brain is like producing this big rush of hormones. We need to step back and be more prudent or rational, and just, take a step back and go, maybe this hormonal cocktail and this wonderful, lovely feeling of bliss and connection and hanging out with this new person, as great as it is, let's not take that away from us. We all love that. Good for us as human beings. Yes, we want that. What a great experience. We cannot invest the layer of meaning and build our life on it. Do you know the number of people who they sell their house, they buy a new house, they get married, they have children from other relationships, they join their relationships, they start a new business, they put all their money together. They just make these major life decisions where they embroil their life with each other, and then after a year to a year and a half, they wake up and go, who are you? And why do you have access to my bank account? It's because of this. Because we're creating this cycle, this dysfunctional cycle. And the point of the video and sharing this with you is, please stop doing this. It's hurtful. You're creating suffering in your life. This is not helpful. So this is video number 2. This is section number 2 in the document about the dysfunctional cycle. You can get a copy of this handout if you go to alanrobarge.com/ and then the word cycle. And then more videos to come, because this is video number 2. It's a total of 5 videos in the series. This content that I'm using here and what we're talking about, this is the foundational content of the community membership website of the like-minded people, perhaps someone just like you who this resonates and you want to work through this, you want to talk to others about this. That's the point of me creating this community membership website, and it will have a Facebook group, a secret Facebook group where we're going to come together and really dialogue about what the heck is going on and how do we gather new resources to do something different, because this is so painful. It just wreaks havoc in our lives. And after you do this 3 or 4 times, even once, but many of us do it multiple times. And after you do it 3 or 4 times, you're just like, oh, I can't keep doing this. I mean, something has got to change, because this always ends with everybody being hurt and no one really gets the relationship that they want. Why? Because it's rooted in dysfunction. And it's rooted on insecure attachment instead of rooted on more practicing secure attachment. This document is really trying to map it out. Take care of yourself, digest this, in small bits, because there are some sentences I have in here which are really, really strong, or they're, the phrase, it's a big pill to swallow. Like it's a reality check on how you're participating in co-creating this in your life. And if you're at a place where the suffering is so great and that you really need to look in the mirror and say, I'm not doing this again. That's the point of me creating the document. That's the point of me creating the community membership website. And that's the reason for this video. So end of video number 2. And I have the other videos in the series coming shortly. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like this video. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.